The castle groans under siege. Smoke rolls, arrows thud, and peasants gnaw onions too tough for teeth. Knights pace in iron shells, stomachs louder than drums. Siege war is hunger stretched into months. Then, against the silence, a chime rings a tone no bell or horn has ever made. A glowing slab hums. Your Uber Eats order is 3 minutes away. Squires freeze. Priests cross themselves. The Baron clutches the device as if it were Excalibur. A new age begins, not with swords but with steaming deliveries. At first they doubt. Perhaps trickery? Perhaps Satan? They order to test it. Roast chicken, honey cakes, 3 barrels of ale. A map appears, a rider icon inching closer. From beyond the enemy camp, a figure emerges, armor dented, carrying sacks that smell of heaven. Arrows fall, but he dodges like Mercury himself. He reaches the gate, bows, and says, "Please rate 5 stars." The knights devour poultry. Peasants lick honey from fingers, and faith in walls is replaced by faith in an app. The besieged discover plenty without plow or prayer. War itself shifts. Soon, castles abandon rationing. Why hoard turnips when lamb with garlic arrives daily? Lords argue not about strategy, but dinner. Squires climb towers for signal instead of guard duty. Priests frown but chew. Monks chant grace, while sneaking fries from paper sacks. The miracle normalizes. 3 feasts a day, hotter than any hearth, faster than any kitchen. Siege warfare's terror starvation is deleted. Then chaos flowers. Yelp-style graffiti blooms on tavern walls. 1 star, bread stale, jouster rude. 5 stars, rider sang on delivery. Riders in armor gallop through battlefields, dodging catapults, balancing sacks. Troubadours sing of them. The swift rider who brought cheese through fire. Lords duel over reviews. You downvoted my feast. Meet me at dawn. Honor becomes service score. Tournaments crown not only jousters, but fastest deliverers. Fame once earned by blade is won by timeliness. Exotic food floods courts. Nobles order sushi from Japan, centuries early. Pizza from Italy. Chilies from worlds not yet reached. Peasants glimpse wonders. Rice, sugar, cocoa, all before discovery. One serf scribbles, "Better than turnips, would eat again." Feudal walls tremble. If serfs feast like lords, what is hierarchy? Uber Eats becomes rebellion by appetite. Castles demand loyalty, not in swords, but in subscriptions. Kings seize control. Armies march not by supply wagons, but by app. Campaigns depend on riders crossing fields with hot stew. Knights refuse battle until their orders arrive. Codes of chivalry rewrite. Protect the weak, honor the lord, always tip the rider. Queens demand dowries and credits. Dukes hoard loyalty points as treasure. Whole sieges collapse when riders strike. Wars fought not for thrones, but for reliable delivery zones. Culture mutates. Courtship abandons poems for meals. Knights woo ladies with deliveries of roast swan wrapped in roses. Troubadours compose odes to the rider who never missed a turn. Weddings include vows, for richer or poorer, for feasts delivered or delayed. Festivals feature races of couriers through mud and fire. Villages gossip not of crops but of orders. The abbess got truffles last night. Imagine the cost. Romance, status, honor, all fed by food in bags. Yet discontent ferments. Riders risk arrows and siege towers for poor tips. Castles complain. Food arrived cold. Unacceptable. Strikes erupt. Armies starve not from blockade but from delays. Peasants, freed from toil, forget how to farm. Fields rot. One winter the app falters. Batteries fail. Riders vanish. Castles collapse. bellies empty. Lords faint at the thought of hunger. A king cries, "Reboot the oracle." Nothing happens. War regains its old teeth. Famine, despair, surrender. The famine after is legend. Monks record it as God's punishment. They abandoned bread for conjured feasts. They write, "The Lord took it away." Survivors tell tales of angel riders who once brought meat through fire. Peasants whisper bedtime rhymes. Arrived in 30 minutes or less. Priests refashion doctrine. Uber Eats was manna, proof of God. Skeptics scoff, but hunger remembers. Castles carve reviews into stone. Excellent mutton, 5 stars, arrived hot. Archaeologists centuries later mistake them for prayers. Whole sects emerge. One worships the 5 stars, promising eternal salvation if one's service score is pure. Another venerates the rider saint, patron of swiftness. Monasteries chant, "Blessed be the courier who gallops through night." Cathedrals paint stained glass of armored men handing over sacks. Psalms shift. The Lord's Prayer becomes, "Give us this day our daily Uber Eats." Religious wars spark. Was the rider a saint, an angel, or the devil's trick? Thousands die hungry, still waiting for food that never comes. Even literature warps. Epics once about dragons become tales of delivery. A ballad. Sir Geoffrey ordered fish and chips. The siege was lifted. Glory eternal. Scholars centuries later puzzle over references to discount codes. They assume metaphor. Plays feature kings raging over delayed orders, queens weeping over canceled carts. Art preserves styrofoam boxes carved into marble. Coins minted with riders galloping, bags clutched tight, heritage etched in hunger. Rome itself absorbs the myth. Emperors claim divine right by promising faster delivery. "A meal in 30 minutes across the empire," Augustus boasts. Roads are paved straighter, not for legions, but couriers. Pax Romana becomes Pax Delivery. When collapse comes, citizens cry not for lost aqueducts, but lost food. Rome fell when the orders failed, one scribe writes. History tilts on hunger. Centuries later, archaeologists dig. They find plates etched with reviews. Mediocre stew, would not order again. They find frescoes of couriers galloping under arrows. They debate endlessly. Were these prayers? Propaganda? Ritual? One scholar claims it was early logistics. Another insists it was myth. A few suggest technology far ahead of its time. They argue, as the riders once argued, hungry for answers. And still, the echo lives. In ruined castles, wind whistles through cracks, sounding like distant hooves. Villagers swear they hear a faint jingle, a whispered phrase. Your order has arrived. Knights had crowns, kings had swords, but for one strange age, castles had convenience. History tasted better, faster, hotter. It ended in famine, but endured in memory. The Middle Ages may have lost Uber Eats, but it never lost the hunger for miracles. And so the legend lingers, carved into stone, sung in ballads, whispered in ruins. Food, faster than fate, delivered at the door.